This is the Be the Solution podcast, and I'm Maria Quattrone, and welcome my guest today, Pam Rosser Thistle. Welcome, Pam.
Good to be here with you, Maria. One of my favorites.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come.
Great to see you, Pam.
Yes, you too.
Oh,
and in person a couple of times recently.
Yes,
it's been a treat,
which is wonderful.
Yeah,
back in person,
amazing.
Yeah, back out on the street, back out working hard. Not like you and I weren't already doing that, but
it was really good to see you in person at the Comcast Center and then at the GPAR meeting.
Yes.
Both a lot of really good information that we need to know as realtors to keep up on things.
Absolutely. And all real estate agents should be attending events like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I invited Pam today, you on the show, so we could talk about, because I know, you've been in the industry for a really long time. I think you and I around the same amount of time.
15 years.
Okay, so I'm just hitting.
You might be. Are you a little more? I forget.
Yeah, I'm just hitting 19.
Okay.
And so I know you were around for the last go around.
Yes.
And so I thought today would be great. We could share with real estate agents, realtors, 5 actionable items for today's marketplace and what people can do. I know that you are very, very proactive in your approach in real estate, and you're not sitting around waiting for people to call you. So I thought that you, in light of this current circumstances today, would be a great person to talk to.
Excellent. Well, I am very practical. So I know my business like I know my body, like what you have to eat to feel good. My business is the same way. I know how to nourish it, and having a healthy pipeline is really, to me, the most important thing to keep a business going. And I'll give you 5 actionable tips, but in general, that's my overriding philosophy, and it's not always exciting. I will add new techniques as they are available to us, like technology, things like that. But the fundamentals of what I do really hasn't changed since I got into the business 15 years ago. It's been fine-tuned in a way that I am able to have more work-life balance, higher income, by doing a lot of the same things with the enhancements of things like technology and collaboration. So really knowing more what resources are out there to make things happen. So I wrote down 5 things. So I'll start with number 1, which is very basic. It is taking a look at your sales for the past. I usually do it the past year. So, but you could go back a couple years. And
okay. So what are you going to do with that?
Go into Bright, pull your production, which you can do by pulling down inventory and then type your name in and hit closed. And then you can put, there's a calendar, so you can pull it back however long you want to. So I usually go back a year and I print that out and I put into categories where those closed transactions came from. What was the origin of the lead? And it's important to do this because a lot of people get caught up in what they think is a lead generation activity, but it might not actually be bringing in the business. When I started, I thought friends and family would be the big source. It wasn't as much as I thought it would be. It turned out for me, at that time, it was open houses, meeting people at open houses. And that still today is like the top of the funnel for me. So I didn't know that. It took me about 3 years to figure that out. And it was by doing this exercise of where does my business come from? So for me, it's to the point, because I've been in the business for a while, that a lot of it is from my sphere. And those are people who I've helped purchase houses, and I stay in touch with them in a lot of different ways. So most of my business comes from 144 people, because I know and love them well. Like I know a lot about them, so I give them a lot of attention in different ways, and that is actually the core of my business right now. But if I were to print out my sales for the year, I would see what categories. So would it be from referrals, like Berkshire Hathaway, the network? I get a lot of referrals through agents in Berkshire Hathaway who don't sell in Center City. So they might refer to me, and then I might refer out to them if I have somebody who's buying in a market where I don't sell, because I sell Center City. So if it's out in Bucks County or New Jersey or somewhere else, then I will refer it out. So it could be open houses, referrals, sphere. So whatever it may be. Some people buy leads. Some people get like overflow from agents in maybe their office, where somebody lives in Florida half the year and they might need some help and refer some business. Especially our Walnut Street office, that's pretty common. There's a lot of business that flows back and forth between agents just walking up and down the halls. So whatever it is, figure out where your business is coming from. Then the next thing is, we've been through a lot with the pandemic, and real estate has benefited greatly because we have the benefit of technology now in a lot of ways that we didn't have before, because we had to, in order to sell houses when we couldn't get into them, we had to do things in other ways. So I think at this point, all the brokers have access to, it's maybe not exactly the same, but similar technology. And some of it is broker technology, and other is just your phone. It could be making a video on your iPhone. It could be social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use. So there are a lot of technology tools, even knowing Bright really well. There are a lot of tools out there, and getting to know what they are. And then the challenge, which I see as a fun challenge, but I think some people see it as overwhelming, but it's to figure out which tools to use. You don't want to use them all. You want to pick maybe 2 or 3 and
So
use
what
consistently.
tools do you use in Bright? Let's start with that.
Well, I always check my hot sheet. And then if I'm basics, like if I'm writing an offer, I'll go into public record, see what the background is, running comps, loading up my listings on there. But really it's a source of just knowing what is coming on the market, what is on the market, what sales have happened. I don't do things like RPR or some of those tools. I don't do that, because our broker has tools that I really enjoy. I really like them and I know them. And
what about the market statistics?
I really, I sell a specific market that I know. So a lot of it is instinct. I'm like a real back of the napkin person, just because some of the houses I sell, I might sell the same exact house like 3 and 4 times. So because it's just a tight, like on Waverly Street, I think I sold 5 houses on Waverly Street this year, like 3 on the same block. So like, I know it instinctively, and then I need to have to see the lot size or see the taxes information that helps put it all together, or see that there isn't something that is either, really good or a red flag about the house. So it's more of a reference tool. But I use the tools as I need it for information. But then my broker tools I use for marketing and for connecting with my sphere. And then a lot of things happen that, you know how some of the tech tools, you get them set up and you don't even know what's going on, but they generate leads like it comes to you. So anyway, I am always taking an assessment of what tools are out there and learning how to use them, and then picking the ones that I want to use, but not all of them, because you don't want to overwhelm either, yourself or the people that you're getting messages out to.
Yeah.
So,
Which tools are you loving right now?
well, I always love a good CRM, but I've gotten to the point where I don't care which one it is. I've worked on 4, and they've all produced for me what I need. And it's a matter of organizing conversations with people. And that's what I tell them too. Like, I will tell people, you will be hearing from me. And the first time it's going to sound like it's me, but it's a way for us to keep connected. I can't keep in touch with everybody, but once you get back to me, then it is me. And then we get talking, or I give you what you want. So I have my CRM set up to match how my business comes in and who I want to stay in touch with. And I have been doing that for ever since I went on my own. And I work with, I have a marketing concierge. Berkshire Hathaway is marketing concierges. So whenever I have an idea, I'll talk to her, and then she'll figure it out for me. So I do a little bit of the work, but really she does it.
Well, that's great.
She makes it happen, because I don't know.
So, because I get your emails and you write them in such a way that it sounds like
them. That's me. It's definitely me. So there are certain things that I do.
Well, you write them in such a way that it sounds like you're talking directly to the person, and you can hear, anybody that knows you can hear it's like your voice. Like, I do my own emails and videos. But obviously, it's either me on the video or it's a fake Maria, right? But I do more videos because that's just, I prefer the picture and the liveness over the written word. But they both do something, right? They both make people call us and reach out to us, and they know who you are because these are the people that you chose. Or like you said, 144 is where you get the majority of your business from.
Yeah.
Okay. And you closed how many units this year?
Let's see. I've closed
approximate.
Because I have my sheet. I've closed 35, and then I still have 2 more to close this year.
Okay.
So 37.
So I know 37 units. That's awesome. Awesome. And you got that from 144 people.
Yeah.
So that part, that is beyond awesome. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable what you have created. And guess what, Pam? Other people can create the same thing for their sphere, their referrals, their open house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all doable. You need to be consistent. I think a lot of people, what happens is if they don't get an instant result, then they think that the technique is not working. And it takes time. And that's when I train on open houses. I train in different, I did a little tour of some of the Berkshire offices. And so I was explaining that it's not like right after you host that by Wednesday, somebody's going to get back to you. 2 of my pendants are someone I met 10 years ago and another I met 7 years ago. So it's staying in touch with people, and it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens very quickly, but if you have enough in your pipeline, then it doesn't matter if you met them, 2 weeks ago or 10 years ago. You just, you can't make somebody be ready. You want to be there when they are ready and be able to guide them.
Exactly.
So if you have enough people who are in the pipeline, then that happens. And I think that setting up systems and being consistent in your activities makes that happen, but you can't stop and start. that doesn't, and that leads to, feelings of frustration
Burnout,
and yeah, yeah. So you
failure.
have to love it. And like you saying that you do the videos, which you're wonderful at the videos, because like you can feel it that you like doing that. So I think that whatever you do, you have to like doing it, not having it be a to-do that you feel an obligation. I think that when you feel like you like doing it, then you're going to do it consistently and put more of yourself into it also, which is a
So
big part of connection.
it is. And I changed some language, right?
Hmm.
I start thinking of things like I get to do a video
Oh,
for the
yes.
aging community. I get to do a video for my database of which happens to be Pam, 20,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
I know because, it's a whole nother thing. We're not talking about that today, but there's
Everybody does it
20,000.
differently. I'm one person. You run a brokerage.
Yes.
So
So we have a brokerage. So there's 20,000 and there's several thousand past clients, right?
mhm.
There's a couple thousand investors because, I do a lot of that type of
Yes.
business, commercial business. And then we don't do like pay per click. So we don't get like a lot of
Mhm.
these, like a bunch of leads, but every
Mhm.
person in there is either they most likely have called the office and they were manually put in to the
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
So all that's about is in our organization is about calling, making the calls.
Mhm.
I already do the videos, so they're warmed up.
Oh,
They
good.
already know, right? So
Yeah.
it's the agents making the calls behind it.
Yes.
Say, hey, are you ready to buy or sell? Who can I help? Or who do you know that's ready to buy or sell? Like never waste an opportunity to ask for a referral.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think in this market, Pam, and I'd like to know your feelings about it. I think we cannot leave any stone left unturned.
Yeah, it's so over this really hot time that we've had over the past however many years it's been, I enjoy working solo. And so when the times are really busy, I would have more business than I could handle personally. So a big part of my business has always been referring to agents who are very good, who can handle the clients that I'm not able to handle. And now I'm not referring as many out. I'm taking them because it's not as busy. So that's what I've seen is that one,
Okay.
like I wasn't doing buyers for a while just with my husband being sick. And then I started doing buyers again a couple months ago and forgot how much I loved it. And so now I might, probably still refer if it's not geographically um to a match for me, then I always will refer them out. But I am mostly taking, like the people who come in who are in my area. So
Right. And
that's
your
huge.
and your area, Pam, is river
It's
to
river to
river
river to river,
from
Tasker
from
to Girard.
Tasker to Girard. Okay.
Yeah, mostly Center City, mostly like,
Yeah.
Rittenhouse, Fitler, Graduate, Society Hill,
Yes.
Queen Village, like Bella Vista, that's most of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
all
that.
like yeah, it's all like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you see it, like, if you see a list of the addresses, a lot of the street names are the same. Like, there's a lot of Pine, a lot of Waverly, a lot of Lombard. There's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
a lot.
and I say this all the time. I said, you can do whatever you want in real estate. Just pick something.
Yeah.
Pick it and stick with it. Right.
Mhm.
Like you have people who only do, Chestnut Hill, Westmount area out that
Mhm.
way, Winmore. Um, and then there's people that, they love they condos. There's a couple people I know that they just do condos, which I
Yeah.
think it would be a harder market nowadays than pre-pandemic for sure. But you can do whatever you want. You could be in commercial, you could do, and I say commercial like we do rather than trying to work at like JLL or
Mhm.
CBRE because that's a whole different breed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the resi commercial because we still can do when one thing is dried up a little bit, we have the other one to lean on,
Mhm.
which is
Heather Patrono, I remember that first person I heard say that word resi-mercial. was Heather Patrone. And I was like, oh, that's so what it is.
Yeah.
I like that.
Resi
Yeah.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Resi Marshall. So, okay, we're
We
looking
have
at
people. Yeah, we have people in. I'm at the Harper, and we do mostly Center City. Not all Center City, but I'm always very impressed because there's some agents in my office, mostly in my office, who specialize in certain buildings, and they do really well. Like I love that when someone takes over a building. I just think that's so smart,
absolutely.
and then
And
they
you can
know
learn
it.
it.
And
Oh,
we
yeah.
have, at our Tuesday meetings, we have them give speeches on the buildings, like all the details, like down to the like
That's great.
such
Very
details. And I love that because that is, I think that you have to keep up on your education and you want to know the market, like the market data, what are mortgage rates, like, all that kind of thing. But if you sell in a specialized market, then knowing things that it's like the little things are big things, like what's the pet policy, what's the rental policy, like all the like really quirky about like condos versus co-ops and
Yeah,
parking
absolutely.
versus deeded and
Well, it's
everything. And we have like notes on all these things. I mean, a lot of them, you just know instinctively, but it's with a condo, a vote could change something. So
absolutely. And it's great that there's a collaboration effort, right? That's really
yeah,
important and contribution. So
great.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. So
yeah.
we're first thing we talked about was
The first thing
to
was
look at the see.
track where your sales come from and
Yes.
hone in on those areas and make sure it matches not just what feels good, like you think is a good business attraction tactic, but look and see what actually worked. So that's number one. Number two is take a look at the tech tools and some of the new resources that we have gained as an industry and maybe through your broker too, through the pandemic. And you might want to change how you go about doing business. Like, do you really need to do that 1, 2, 3 step process, or can you just do like one, or jump right to something because it may have changed how things happen. You can automate certain things and then put the personal touch on other things. And then 3 is what I was just saying, really is about knowing your market, and not just about the real estate market, but about things like tax abatements and zoning and things that relate to what you're selling that you can help people, help your clients. I have so many contractors in my phone and I have them organized by category. So people are always asking me for plumbers, electricians, and architects, and I have all them in there. So and I during the last couple of years, some people have dropped out of the industry, others have come in. So keeping on top of that, also keeping on top of agents. Some agents have uh, are selling in different markets now, or they may have decided that real estate wasn't for them. And then there are new agents who have come on the scene. And you want to make sure that they have staying power because there could be somebody who just gets fed leads by a team leader and then they do something else and they don't really have, like have whatever you call it. But like, want to have somebody who is like has lasting power. And so be on the lookout for like who are these new players. So getting to know the people in your market, the agents that you'll be dealing with day in and day out, you really want to build relationships with them. Let's see, what else do I have? Okay, well, 2 things, like these are kind of related, but as far as a routine, this is a business that is very open ended, and you could like do nothing in a day, or you could overdo it and do too much in a day. And I think that having a routine is an important way to keep your sanity and also just keep your business going. For me, it's always been open houses. That's given structure to my week, getting ready for them, promoting them, keeping up on the inventory so I know what's out there. because I host for myself, but also for other agents. So it's seeing different inventory, and just being able to have a way to connect with people on a consistent basis. So that's how I do it. I know some people have morning routines where they wake up early and they exercise and do things like that. I think whatever is going to keep you feeling solid and have some control, that's what you need to do. But you need to have some kind of structure. I put together a to-do list every night and I knock through that. Like I'm very, there's certain things where I have a lot of thought and caring, and then other things I'm like a robot where you just have to do. And it's very organized. Like as far as I told you, I have to go meet a roofer after this. And then I have to run a couple errands, like before and after. Some of it's groceries, some of it's like, to me, it's all blended together, the personal and the work. And I just make my list based on geography and timing and parking. And so, and you have to get that right. Like if you miss a beat, if you miss, like, getting that check or doing something when you were just 2 blocks away, and then you're like somewhere else, you screwed up. So all that flow is really important. So getting organized for the day and how your day is going to be laid out and then executing on it is really important, because I think when people are disorganized, they feel out of control, and they're also not putting the focus in where they want the focus to be, which would be money-making activities like keeping your clients happy, developing new business, and then your personal, with yourself, with your family, with things you want to do. And if you're not busy, chill out. Don't pretend that you are. If you're not busy, you're not busy. Go take a nap, go see a movie, go do something. Don't feel like you have to be busy. I think that's like something we learned during the pandemic. It's okay to say, I'm doing something personal today. I don't have anything that I have to do. So having that clarity.
I want to ask you a question. How many hours a week do you think you work?
I'm always working. But it's not like, I'm a good multitasker. So, it's focused, but it's constant. Like when I get up, I check my email, I check my hot sheet, get my coffee, and, start working through my list. But I'm like, like yesterday, my husband was getting his chemo at Fox Chase, and like, that's 2 hours with the drip drip. So I'm like on my, talking to him, but I'm on my phone doing stuff too. Like something went under agreement while I was sitting there. So I'm, getting like things organized. But it's so second nature. It's not like, I don't know. It's kind of like being, like a mom or part of a daughter or whatever. Like you just kind of work the whole thing in. Like my mom was over. I had to help her with something this morning. The Christmas tree was being delivered. We were figuring some things out for like with the girls. And then I was, hopping on my computer here and there. It's like, I don't know, it just all kind of flows. So it doesn't feel.
So what about Saturdays and Sundays? Do you have a day that you take off every week?
No.
So you never take one day off unless you're going to May for 4 days.
Well, no, because I'm always there for my clients. It's just like being there for my husband, my kids, my mom. I'm always kind of on call. So it's all, and if I don't have something happening, I will, like I was just down in Cape May 2 days ago, quietly relaxing. So I can take more like a couple hours off. But I mean, there's always stuff going on. Like, I have a lot of older people in my life. So I'm like in and out of hospitals with them. And like, there's always stuff going on. It's just the age I am, that sandwich age. So that's just where I am. That's it. So, but I know how to, when I have the opportunity, I can really relax and I can enjoy. Like I was down in Atlantic City. My company had a beautiful cocktail party. And I had a great time. And then I went to Cape May from there, and it was great. So it's not like I'm always like stress. I'm not really a stressed kind of person. It's just all happening. So, and it makes me happy
that
too
you've
to
been
be
in the
doing
business
business.
for 15 years ish, and you have a certain cadence now to it. And the
Yeah.
cadence to me sounds like it's all just intertwined. Like
Yes.
your people are your world. There's 144 of them. You probably talk to them, every month, these people, and you probably send them stuff like every other week or every week. And you do your life and do your real estate, use it as a vehicle so you can enjoy your life and take care of your family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And I go, like, I've been out to lunch and breakfast with my client, like, maybe 6 or 7 of them in the last month, just because around the holidays, I think it's nice. So I get together, I like to go see their place after they've moved in when they're ready for me to take a look. The architects always are like, oh, not yet, not yet. But
Yeah.
but anyway, I like to just see what's going on in their life as much as they want me. I mean, some people don't want that, but if they do, I like to stay connected and know how things are in their world, to have a cup of coffee with them. So to me, that is enjoyable. It's not like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I like it. I really like my clients.
You get to do it.
Yeah, it's like, and then I get out, have a nice lunch, and so it works for me. I mean, I really enjoy what I do and the people I do it with. So to me, it's like it's all connected, and people who are clients are friends, and colleagues are friends, and so it all kind of flows together. I don't feel like there's a divide, like, oh, I'm done working for now. Although I do want to lead into the last thing, which is very important. And I was talking to somebody I work with the other day about this, and it's about both your physical and your emotional energy, and you have to be. It's finite. You don't have unlimited uh, emotional and physical energy. So you have to prioritize for yourself, for your family, for your clients, for other people. But there are sometimes people who take a lot of energy from you that then depletes you when you really should be giving that to your family and close people. So, and I think especially going into or the market that we're in right now, there is a lot of jittery and people not really on solid footing, and that's part of what we do, is to help people and to give them some perspective, add some calmness to situations that are stressful while being realistic too. Not sugarcoating things, but just being realistic with them. But then there are some situations where there's created drama, or it might be like a need of a person for feeding an ego, or getting attention, that sort of thing. And so to point that out and to understand what it is, and to not have your energy be put into that when it really should be for your family and your close people. What do you think of that?
Really, really good advice.
I'm just curious your opinion, Maria. What do you think of that one? That was one just 2 days ago we were talking about, and I never really thought about. But what are your thoughts on that?
It's really good advice,
Is it? But did you ever?
It's our job to be the lighthouse.
Did you ever think about that though? Like, I never thought about it.
That you have
The energy, like finite energy, and what do you think? I mean, some of that would be
I
like,
guess that's why we get tired at the end of the day.
yeah, some of it would be unnecessary worry, which you can't control that. Like
No, and that's
worrying about something.
really
But some
really
of it
hard.
is like being drawn into things that maybe, you know, are that you have to sort of like shift your focus.
I think that we will allow what we will tolerate.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
And I have very little patience for nonsense.
Okay. Yeah.
And I am going to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, just like you, Pam. Right? And I'm going to say, can we rip this Band-Aid off, or would you want to like peel it off? Like, or
right.
no, I would say back in the day, I would tell people, listen, you want to cut one toe off at a time,
Oh,
or the whole foot. Like, we got to adjust this price.
yeah.
Again, your adjustment of $5,000 isn't going to get it done.
Yeah.
And, you know, I go back to the motivation, right? I like to think like right now that we're in a have to market, have to buy, have to sell. And our job as real estate professionals, as realtors, is to find those people that have to buy and have to sell, because in any marketplace, they always exist.
Yes.
So, and that means, look, we have to do things a little bit differently, right? Let's take a look at where the business came from. Let's see, where is the pipeline coming from next year? Do we have to change some things up from what we're doing? Do we have to make more contacts to our current people? Probably yes.
Yeah, I remember Ginny McEwen, who was my manager at Walnut Street when I started at Walnut Street, and I guess that must have been still in that tough market. But she used to say +1, like do +1, like, you know, one more open house, or one more, you know, like
make one more call,
like do one more thing. So I think that we have to do that. I think that we have to, you know, not exhaust ourselves, but like fortify our efforts by a little bit more to bring in the same amount of business. And also, as you said, like, where is it next year? Where is it in 2023? We need to align with where the must-haves are.
I think,
and not waste time on the dreamers. No, it's never wasting time. I mean, I'm always with people, like, however long. I enjoy it. And
yeah,
I'm not anyone to rush someone, but just to, you know, like, if somebody really needs to do something, then you need to be there and help guide them through it in an efficient way. So some of it is being on your game. Like, I always think of it, I was an athlete in high school and college. And so I think of things in sports terms sometimes, like, you know, if somebody like passes you the ball, you got to know how to take it to the hoop. Like that, you need basic skills. Like, you know, you might have the people, but do you know how to like get it in the goal like that? You need to know how to do that. And those are what they call like the basic skills. You need to have the basic skills. Do you know how to get through a transaction? Do you know how to get through a home inspection? Like, do you know the steps and how to guide someone into closing? Some of the little things are big things. Like, I was just this morning, like, someone closes next week, just going over, like, here's what you need to bring, like utility transfers, you know, our walkthrough and everything. And even though it's been emailed to this buyer, I just like to, like, do you have any questions? Like, remember, it's got to be a bank check, not a personal check, like just all the really basics. They don't do this every day. So I think that you need to be that guide with the extremely practical information, because if you make a mistake, it's a big deal. It's money. So every step needs to be, you know, very clear, and to help people do what they need to do with the time frames. They don't do this every day. We do. So we need to help them.
And I think if you don't know all the things that you need to do, then you should get around an organization or team that does, so that you can get the right mentoring, right? And the thing is, the thing also, I think, Pam, it's really important we stress is that it's a skill-based market. So you need to know the right questions to ask. You need to ask more questions. You need to repeat and affirm and make sure the client, you heard them properly. You build rapport through asking good questions, hard questions, sometimes questions that other people don't want to ask.
Yeah.
And making sure when you're looking at the market comparables that you're not using, sold comps from 6 months ago, that you're using pending sales, that you're using a pricing against active inventory.
Yeah.
And looking at all those, because in some areas, in some cases, there may be a 10% adjustment up just from an altruistic standpoint, because the market was at 2.8% and 3% interest rates, and people are just bidding up things because they could.
Yeah.
And now they can't. So you have to adjust. You got to zig, you got to zag. And I think we're going to have to do a lot more than people are really used to. I think we might have to do double what we were doing to make the same. It's a possibility.
Yeah. I feel like that. I feel like already that it's, I don't know. It's, I'm definitely feeling like my, what do they call them? The core skills and also just the emotional, being an emotional support, that everything is being tapped, and I'm ready to do that. But I feel like everything I have, as far as my experience, my skills, and just being like kind of motherly, or like all of that is needed to get through 2023, and I'm ready to give it. But that's why I was talking about the emotional energy, because it's in order for me to give that to my clients, I have to be careful how much I give to I can't give to everybody, or it won't be there for the ones who really need to lean on me.
Pam, what do they say when you're on the airplane and the oxygen mask comes down? What do they tell you to do?
I just go to Cape May in Pittsburgh, so I don't know. Last time I was on a plane was Disney World.
Okay.
And before that, my honeymoon. I'm not a traveler.
Pam,
what do they say?
You to put it on yourself first.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So the bottom line is, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health.
Yes.
Exercise, to take a walk, get move your body some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Eat the right foods, right?
Yes.
Drink a lot of water. Be prepared. Be prepared to have to be a little tougher.
Yes.
A little. I don't mean tough in a mean way. I mean tough like in a resilient way, that you can handle it because you walked through the store before, and that you got what it takes. And having that attitude that that client should be working with you, because you know exactly what you're going to do, and you know exactly what to do to get this property sold. And if they work with somebody else, they may not get it. They may not sell it. So I think it's having that mindset as well, because things aren't just going to fly off the shelf in today's environment. So this has been great, Pam. Thank you for coming on.
Be the solution, to you, Maria. And they like it even better when I run into you.
Yes.
I hope I see you again soon.
Yes, hopefully we run into each other before,
and I'll give you all the emotional energy I can.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for sharing today, Pam, with
Maria.
the top 5 actionable items for today's real estate agents. I wish you the best and happy holidays to you and your family.
Same to you. The chip.